Hi, welcome to Setting Smart Goals for 2025. If you're a writer and you're looking to achieve your writing dreams this year and you want some concrete ways that you can set goals to help you achieve those dreams, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dylan Newton. I'm a romance author with 7 traditionally published books with 2 publishers, most recently with Hachette, with whom I had a 3-book deal for my best-selling romantic comedies that I received star reviews from Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, Booklist, Library Journal, and others, but we are not here to talk about that today. I'm here to set up some smart writing goals for you so that you can achieve your writing dream this year. In this video, we're going to do a quick self-assessment of where you are right now in your writing and where you'd like to be by the end of this year. And if you are watching me in December, as you can see, it's December behind me right now, and you're looking to set them up for January, fantastic. That's what I'm doing right now. However, if you're watching this video in March or July or October, you are not late. You are right on time. It is never too late to set up your writing goals. So stick around, listen up, and everything that we have to go over today will be applicable regardless of the time of year that you're watching this video. So we're going to talk about that. The third thing we're going to do is to understand how to set SMART goals for your writing. Probably if you've been around, you've heard the acronym SMART as it relates to goals, and we'll talk about what they mean. But I'm also going to give you concrete ways as a writer to make your goals applicable to you. I always found that difficult as a writer to try to apply the SMART acronym to writing because it's easy to make them more like dreams and less like goals. And we're going to talk about how to clarify the difference. So the third thing we're going to do is give some examples of concrete goals that you could establish this year for yourself and for your writing. And I'll even give you some of my examples if you'd like to see them. Not my examples, my actual goals. Okay, so let's dive right in. The first thing we're going to talk about is a self-assessment. I think that that's important to do. As a writer, it is a solitary sort of activity, not sort of activity, it is a solitary activity. So it's important to check in with yourself, whether you've never written a book, whether this is your 7th book, your 25th book, whatever it is. It's important to check in with yourself to see how you did last year and see what ways you'd like to improve. How would you like to see your writing career go in this coming year, whether it's January, July, or October, wherever you are right now? Where would you like to see yourself progress? I'd like you to take out a piece of paper and actually write it down. Science has shown if you write things down, it sticks a little better and sticks a little differently, right? So pause this video and go ahead and write down how you feel like you did last year or so far this year if you're watching it already in 2025. And then go ahead and think about where you'd like to be at the end of this year, because we're going to be using those as part of the way to set up our SMART goals and know where we want to set up our focus for 2025. So you can pause the video now. I'll be back when you're done. So if you've paused the video and you've done your goals and you've done your here's where I've been sheet, here's where I'd like to go sheet, on both sheets really. I usually see writers, I've worked with writers for decades. So I used to be an RWA president for our local Romance Writers of America chapter. I have been a National Novel Writing Month coach for a really long time, and I've had also writing clients for a couple of decades. So I'm definitely, one of my passions is working with writers and helping them achieve their writing dreams. And when I do this with my clients and with different seminars that I deliver, what I usually find is writers will have goals that fall into 3 categories. The first category is finding a way to sharpen their writing tools. Okay, so making yourself a better writer. And if this is not one of your goals, I would like you to create a goal that revolves around sharpening your tools. Now that can be your writing tools, that can be your marketing tools, that can be your editing tools, that can be any of the tools that we writers have to have in our toolbox. So it can be any one of those. The second category that I usually find goals in is starting and finishing a novel, because we are writers, that is what we do. So whether you've never started a novel before or you've started one and then got lost somewhere in the middle and had trouble finishing, or you're on your 25th novel and you're trying to finish that one, whatever the case might be, starting and finishing a novel is typically on a writer's goal sheet, right? And the third one is usually, it is written as a goal with a lot of writers. I've been guilty of it myself, but it's technically not a goal. It's more of something that's not in your control. It's more of a dream, shall we say. So it's something like getting an agent, getting published, hitting the New York Times bestsellers list, getting a bazillion reviews on Goodreads or Amazon or whatever the case might be. Those are great. We're going to talk about why they're actually not a good goal in just a second. But it's definitely something that people put on their list of things they'd like to accomplish in 2025. But what we're going to talk about in this video is how to actually make it a goal that you can put actionable items against so that you can measure your progress. Okay, so let's dive in. What I want you to do before we start is highlight the one that you have in front of you that gives you the most angst. What one thing that you're looking at freaks you out the most as a writer? Is it finishing your novel? Is it trying to get an agent? Is it getting published? Which one is it that freaks you out the most, that you're most worried about accomplishing this year? I want you to highlight that for me. Okay. And then a lot of times it's time for people. So finding the time to write, that might be some of it. So we're going to talk about some ways you can address those things. So let's dive in. One of my favorite quotes about goals is a goal is a dream with a deadline. And that's by Napoleon Hill. And I think that's so appropriate because if we don't take the time to take a look at our goals, and we don't put an action plan against them, then they're really more dreams than they are goals. So might seem like splitting hairs here, but by the end of this video, you'll see what I mean by that. Okay, so let's talk about creating SMART goals, and it's SMART. It is an acronym. Each one of the letters stands for something, and I'm going to explain to you how we can create SMART goals and be applicable to your writing. If you've taken any sort of time management classes or a lot of those Man and Jean classes, we'll talk about creating SMART goals. What I always struggled with as a writer is how to make those applicable to my writing journey. So that's why I'm doing this video today, because I thought it might be helpful for my other writer friends or aspiring writer friends out there. Okay, so let's dive in. The first letter S stands for specific. So your goal needs to be specific. And when I say specific, I'm looking back at my reporter days. So you need to know your 5 W's and your H. So the who, what, when, where, why, and the how. Okay, so the level of specificity that you can apply to your goal, science says, the more likely you are to achieve it. Okay, so instead of, I want to find time to work on my novel, that's more of an aspiration, right? To make it a goal, we're going to be specific. I am going to dedicate 45 minutes every day to writing my novel. Specific. I want you to get very granular with your goals. Okay, the second letter in SMART is for measurable. This one's really important. This one's where I have personally fallen down a lot, because if you can't measure it, you can't track it, you can't see where you are in progress. And if you can't see where you are in your progress, it can be easy to give up. Or if you fall down for a day on your goal, or a week or a month, it can be easier to be like, well, all right, whatever, it's over, we're going to give up, we're going to move on. But if you can measure it and you can see your progress, you are less likely to do that. So measurability is key. So whether your measurability is by, let's say your goal is something about finishing your novel, you could measure that by your word count track per day. You could measure it by how many pages you write per day. You could measure it by the time you dedicate to your writing craft every day. So having measurability and the ability to track it over time, over a day, a week, a month, a quarter, a 6-month time frame, and a year is key to making a goal that will get you to where you want to be by the end of this year. Okay, so the A, attainable. Now, what do I mean by attainable? Does that mean that you can, so basically attainable is identifying goals that are important to you and that you see as something that are attainable and that you can hit them. Now, does that mean you can't dream big? No, that is not what attainable means. You can still dream big. It just means you have to set up a goal that's something that's within your control. Okay, so hitting the New York Times bestsellers list, that's a definite dream of mine, right? But is it in my control? No, not really. I can't control how many thousands of people go out and buy my books, right? I'm best known for my Matthew's Brother trilogy. You can see the 3 behind me. That's where I got my 3-book deal from Hachette. I can't control whether that hits the New York Times bestsellers list or not, right? But what I can control is how much I am on social media, promoting it, what I am doing in terms of interacting with readers and working with bookstores and things like that. There are things that I can control that will help my sales. But at the end of the day, I have to make a goal that has the attainability that I can achieve. So same thing if you're looking for, let's say if you were looking to get an agent, you can't control how many people say yes to you, right? There's going to be no's that happen. But what you can control is the ability to submit to multiple agents so that you control the mathematics of the equation, maybe not the magic, right? I say this a lot. I'm kind of known for this saying that writing is more mathematics than it is magic, and that is true in so many ways, and this is one of them. So you can control the mathematics around that goal, and that's something that you'd want to have as your attainability aspect of your SMART goal. That the R in the SMART goals is realistic. Is this a realistic goal for you? Something you are willing and able to work toward. Here's an example. The 4 a.m. club. That is a thing I have a really good friend of mine who's a part of the 4 a.m. club. She believes in it. That's what she attributes a lot of her success to. She gets up at 4 a.m. She starts writing right away. By the time she starts her day, with her day job, she's already got X number of words written, and it's just a way that works really well for her. It would not pass the test for me in terms of a SMART goal because it would not be realistic for me to do that. I am not functional at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is not my time. It is not where I'm functional. I'm more functional at 11 p.m. or midnight. I could be part of that club. 4 a.m. club, it would be a tough club for me to be a part of. I'm not saying, never, but I'm saying that would be a tough, realistic one for me to achieve. Okay. So is it realistic for you? And the last one is also really important. It kind of goes along with measurability, but the T in SMART goals stands for tangible or time bound. So you have to have an end date for your goal. Okay. So another quote I often say is done is better than perfect. And that's what you have to figure out is when is your goal done? Because your novel will never be perfect. So the goal can't be to write a perfect novel. Not realistic, right? Not attainable for anyone. But you can say, I want to have my best version possible by October of this year or whatever the case might be. So having a time-bound goal is very, very important. Now, if you are watching this, there is a worksheet that goes along with this video. It is called a SMART Goals Worksheet. And it turns out it was right next, there it is. Sorry. It was right next to me and then got shuffled to the side. It should look like this. 2025 SMART goals, SMART writing goals. What I really like about this is it talks about what your writing goal is. It gives you a deadline right on there. And then talks about the challenges that you expect to have to overcome to achieve this goal, which is really, really important because we will have challenges with all of our goals. So it's really important to understand what your challenges are. And then right underneath that, what I love about this worksheet is that it gives you tasks. What tasks can you schedule now with due dates that will help you achieve that goal? So this is the next thing I want you to pull up is your worksheet. As you're filling this out with your goals for the rest of 2025 or to start out 2025, what I want you to ask yourself is, here's the sniff test, if you will, to see if your goals are SMART. Are they behavioral? Okay. Is it a behavior that you can observe so that you can measure it, so that you can put a time on it, so that you have control over it? It's attainable. It's realistic. Are they behavioral aspects to this goal that you can observe? Number 2, is it something you're 100% in control of? We just talked about that. And number 3, does it have a concrete end date so that you can measure your progress along the way? Okay, so here are some examples of bad writing goals. This is what you do not want to have on your worksheet. Something like get an agent, get published, increase my reviews, be on the New York Times bestsellers list. We did that already. Be part of the 4 a.m. club. Not a good goal for me. Also finish my book. Finish my book is also not a great goal because, as we just talked about, although it could be attainable and it could be realistic and it should be all of those, And it is rather specific, finish your book. You could add some details as to what kind of book it is and that sort of thing. It is not time bound, and you're not telling yourself how you're measuring it, and you're not actually being specific and granular and how you're going to do that. Okay, so a better way, let's talk about how you can write some goals that will serve you better as a writer. Okay, so one example would be, I'm going to write for 45 minutes. Or you can give a page count or a word count, whatever works best for you. 45 minutes from X time to X time every day. Let's say it's from, 7 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. every weekday until your novel is finished. Now that is a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's time bound. Okay, so that would be a good example of how you would schedule your writing goal. If you're trying to get some words written and a novel finished, or your next novel finished or edited, that would be a good example of a goal you could have. Another example for a writer that I would highly recommend is taking a writer's class. But a way to write that goal is, I would like to take a writer's class by the end of the second quarter to brush up on my skills or increase my confidence and therefore my motivation to finish my novel. Okay, so again, specificity, time frame, time bound, make it look attainable, make it look realistic, all of those things. You could put on it, and if your goal is to attend a writer's conference, to read or listen to, because audiobooks count, a certain amount of books per year, and then break it down by month and break it down by week so that you have a goal that way. And if you are a writer, you should also be a reader. If you are not currently a reader, make it your point to be a reader. Download a Libby app and listen to audiobooks. There's no excuse to not read if you are a writer. You could also, let's say you want to be traditionally published. Okay, so you could make it a goal to finish and get feedback on your query email, right? Or your book pitch by X date, whatever that date might be. Maybe you're going to a conference and you're going to do an in-person pitch to an agent or an editor. You'll want to have that pitch finalized and practice it and know it by a certain date, right? So you can write your goal that way. Or you're going to query X amount of agents or editors on your novel by X date. Okay, so you have that. So again, level of specificity, time bound, all of those sorts of things. Some of my writing goals this year, my writing goals as far as the writing portion of it change based upon what contractual obligations I'm on that point. So if I'm in writing mode, they are based on usually word count and time frame. So I always schedule my time at the beginning of every week to see when I'm going to be writing, and I block that time out first around everything else that's going on. Okay. Maybe I'm in editing mode and I have, I have to get, copy edits in, or whatever level of edits that I'm in. So it could be page count at that point, or chapter count. That I'm getting through, this chapter by X date and this chapter by X date so that I can get that back in. So either one would work. I've never missed a deadline. And the reason I don't miss deadlines is because I'm very specific about when I'm going to do my writing, my editing, whatever it might be. And I also build in buffer time because life happens and you have to do that. So that's that. One of my other writing goals is to send one newsletter per month to my readers and followers and make it fun. And I have giveaways planned every single month because I feel like if you take the time to open my newsletter, you should also find a way to get some fun prizes for it. So there's that. And I measure my engagement for that because I want to improve. Your goal is to always improve as a writer. So I measure my engagement by monitoring my opens and my clicks and things like that through the app that I use for my newsletter. So I always want to improve, right? As a writer, we don't want to stay static. We always want to improve. There's other ones. This is actually one of my goals this year, crafting a novel boot camp, of which, bug flew through the frame, crafting a novel boot camp to give back to writers. I just don't have the time to do in-person seminars like I used to. So this is my way to do virtual help for all my friends out there that are aspiring novelists and really want this to be the year that they finish that novel of their heart. So this is my video to create SMART goals, which will be the beginning of my crafting a novel boot camp that I'm running in 2025. So I want you to take a look at your goals, and then I want you to take a look at your calendar, and I want you to figure out one thing right now that you can schedule, just one, to improve your writing abilities this year. Okay? Maybe it's something like improving your writing skill set. And if so, you could always join my Crafting a Novel Bootcamp. My not so subtle promotion there, but you could definitely do that. If you are interested in anything like that, please do feel free to follow me on social media. I will tell you when my next Crafting a Novel Bootcamp is. You can also take a look at my website, which is www.dylannewton.com, or you can email me. I am at hi Dylan, like hi Dylan at dylannewton.com. My final thoughts: you hold the key to your success in 2025, and taking the time to do this and create some SMART goals for your writing career is the best thing you could be doing. So I'm so proud of you for doing that. Congratulations. Keep going. You are responsible for starting every day, and I know you can, and setting the goals that are specific will help you do that. I will say, lose the excuses. I have to always tell myself this every day. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Get over yourself. Get over the fact that you have a lot of things to do and that you're busy. Find the time. If it's important for you, find the time. Understand that you will fall down, right? There's going to be times where you don't hit your goals, maybe for the day, for the week, for the month, maybe even for a couple, 3 months, because life happens, right? And that does happen. Don't beat yourself up. Just get up, brush off your knees, and continue on, right? That's perseverance and grit are half the key to being a writer. The other half is just sitting down. I call it your BIC time, your butt in chair time, your BIC time. And then your perseverance, because writing is tough. You're going to hear no more than you're going to hear yes. And that is the reality of this business. The last thing I want to say to you, and I want you to hear me, is that the right time to write is right now, okay? A lot of writers will say to me, well, I feel like I need to do more research, or I feel like I need to have a better writing toolbox, or I feel like I need to, fill in the blank with the reason. It's just your fear taking over and preventing you from starting. So kick the fear aside and go ahead and just start. You've got this. You're ready to write. Right now, you have the tools. Right now, can you get better? Yes. Can I get better? Yes. Can Stephen King, who's written 88 books, I'm pointing up here because I have all 88 up here, can he get better? Yes. We can all get better at our writing. You will never be perfect, but remember, done is better than perfect. Start now. Start now. Your future self will thank you if you start now. That is what I have for you today. I will leave you with one of my favorite quotes. It is from the brilliant Dr. Seuss, and the quote is, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." So take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your writing goals this year, and tune in soon for the Crafting a Novel Bootcamp. But I'm excited for your goals, and you've got this. You've got this. Bye.